I'm going to take Dahlia into GR1 stage 18 today, and we'll build up a couple of teams around her so we can have a look at the sort of thing you can do and get through GR stage 18 with her. Okay, let's jump into the video. Hello and welcome, I'm Mystical, this is Mystical Gaming. We're back into Watcher Realms and we're taking Dahlia today into GR1 stage 18. Why stage 18? It's the first place you get only mythical, so gone are the legendary drops for you. You get your mythical stuff here and you get your keys here as well for gear dungeons. So remember that gear dungeons are open and they're expanding them out, so this is where you get your master keys from. So GR1 stage 18, power dominance is off. This is the team that we're going with. We are going to use a Buzo, we're going to use a Dahlia, and then we've got some healing and some extra DPS and that sort of stuff. So that's essentially the team. It is a small team, it's nice and easily done. Dahlia is still probably, I won't say overpowered for this, but yes, she is. And we can put her all the way back. We can put a Buzo in there, and a Buzo that way can attack everyone on the tile. Now, Dahlia is only going to be any good up until when the first wall disappears, realistically. After that she does a bit of damage, but the damage is going to tail off. But you can build a better team than this. It's not going to be overly tricky for you to surpass the team. And then the other thing we've got a fighter. I'm using Esther, and she can reach over the wall, so she can contain a bit of extra damage for you. 12 bar damage go up. We're also using Autumn. Autumn's a great little champion earlier on in the game. She will give you a crit rate buff and she will give you a crit damage buff as well. So you can get both these important buffs triggered off, and you'll see occasionally when she fires off her ultimate, you'll see the little symbols come above the other players' heads, and you'll know that they've got crit rate and crit damage buff on there. So you don't have to worry about crit capping your champions or getting as close to it as you can. She's going to give you that extra 30%. Now healer wise, I'm using Lily. You can use any healer you like in here. I mean, Vortex would be quite good. You can use Dolores instead of Autumn, or you can use them both to get more damage out. I'm just trying to sort of scale back the team realistically, so it is more feasible for what people can expect and what people can do. So we're, what, 48, 49 before our fighter is mowed down and killed as the wall crumbles by the boss. Now this is where Dahlia's DPS is going to drop off. She's still damaging the boss, and she keeps that continuous damage to 10 stacks on the boss, and she keeps DPS in the boss down. But realistically, a lot of the damage is gone now, and it's all going to be down to a Buzo coming in, because a Buzo can hit all those tiles. Now, if you were building this team, you might want to pick up a single target DPS for the other side to start targeting the boss. You might want to pick up some other AoE DPS that you can put down as well. I'm only really using half a team here, so you can get a feel for it. Now I've put the fighter back down. Estrid, as she's come off cooldown, she's come back onto the playing field, and she's now attacking the back of the mobs. That's the boss down now. The wall's at about, second wall is about 25%, so that's still good there. And we just finish off killing these mobs, and that's it done. Really, she really is a good champion here. You really do farm off those beginning mobs nice and early, and with a full team you would get nowhere near that second wall. I'll show you the gear later. She's not over geared for this. I have throttled back the gear as much as I can. So if you've done the Buzo fusion, absolutely brilliant. You onto a winner there, because she comes with that Lord skill as well, which is helping Dahlia's DPS and buffing her stats. Now here's a second option for a team. We're sticking in some Lords. So my fighter in there is a Northerner, so I've put in a Northerner Lord. I've got the 3-star blue hero, and that's going to up our stats by 5%, and it's going to give us a shield occasionally. The shield not so important, but the buff to our stats is nice. And then I'm using greed. I've swapped the gear over from a Buzo, which isn't brilliant gear. I put it onto greed, and then I've used a cultist lord as well, so you can go in and find a cultist lord. And then again, I'm using a 3-star one. I don't plan on putting them down, but if you'd built them out or whatever, you can actually use them in the game as well. But do remember, generally through most stages of this game, you're given 10 champions to pick from, and you generally only put down 8, so there are 2 slots there realistically you're not going to use, so feel free to put in the Lord. Now the Lord we're using this time round is a 3-star one as opposed to a Buzo, so our stats are down. We only get a 5% increase instead of, I think, the 10 or 15% increase that a Buzo would give us, so that's a little loss as well. But we could also include other champions that we might want to put in here as well. So if you're thinking that you get more buffs or more shielding, or the effect happens more often with the additional champions you use, you could easily put them in as well. Even if you're not going to really use them, you could put them in and gain from there. If you've done the recent fusion of Walk, I think it is, isn't it? I've not even play tested or anything like that yet. That's another Lord that you could put in there for the Northerners, and you'd get a larger stat boost. You can realistically use any fighter who's going to hit over the wall for you to sit behind the wall, or you can just use more DPS going forward. Now this time going forward, we will just chuck in the same champions. We'll just put in Greed instead of a Buzo, and it'd be essentially the same fight, so you can go through. But this is realistically how you should build a team up going through. So Dahlia's gone down. She does, if these are cursed ones, so forewarned, her artifact is her exclusive artifact, but you can get that quite easily if you're doing the events now without any worries whatsoever. You don't have to worry about getting the top 40 million on the challenge. You can just get a little score of 4 million and you will build up enough points quite easily to get her exclusive artifact, and it's very worthwhile getting. If you've gone for this champion, make sure you go and get the exclusive artifact for her as well. So this is the next run coming through. We don't have as much DPS coming out this time from our cultists. We've only got the 2 of them, and we don't have the larger cultist reward buff, so we're down to sort of 5% instead of 10%, so there's a few little things working against us, but essentially it's very much the same fight. The healers for this, there isn't that much healing required. It's not that hard to overheal from it. I'll show you all the gear later. The gear isn't massive. I haven't used any gear, I don't think, that you couldn't get before trying this. And like I've said on the thumbnail, none of the gear, I believe, is above level 12, and we'll have a look through it all. And essentially that's it. You should be able to motor through this with quite happily without any real issues. The first wall goes down, but again, you should on the other side look at having another AoE mage or marksman coming over, so Maul will be extremely good here, so feel free to use him. Again, cultists do more damage against people who are frozen, so that would help with Maul coming in. The only thing I would say is that my epics are mostly fully awakened, or at least the cultist ones are, and I can't unawaken them or take the awakenings off to represent what they would be like. I'm not sure if they matter completely, but there are some of them that are fully awakened, so I apologise for that. There's not a lot I can really do about it. So there you go, another team there, gone through. You can buff, remember, if you're not using all the champions with your little Lord bonus, put that in and you can motor through these without any real issue. Right, now that's done, let's go and have a look at the champions and see the gear they're in. I think you will be impressed. This is some of the best gear I've got on my account that I've put on them. Starting with the healer, I have promoted her once and she is in fully maxed out, leveled up legendary gear. So there she is. I think she's level 40. She does have a promotion on her which unlocks her first passive, the Thorny Protection passive. So that is unlocked due to the first promotion which we've put on her. She's awakened all the way up to Awakening 4, just because it gives me somewhere to put spare copies that I get of her. I just put them in. Autumn is fully awakened up. I don't think her awakenings do anything, being a rare or being a 3-star. No, they don't. So wouldn't greatly affect at all. She doesn't even have an artifact on. What we're using her for is for her ultimate, which gives the crit damage increase. So that increases, gives us crit damage of plus 60%. And then while she's using that, She also triggers her passive, which gives us a crit rate of 30%. So your DPS doesn't have to have as much crit rate. You can use Autumn there just to boost up your crit rate and your crit damage, because one will trigger off the other. Fantastic little champion. Gear-wise on her, we've got a set bonus on the left and the right hand side. So she's getting the 25 extra healing, and she's getting an HP boost of 10%. But there you go. She's got attack percent, HP percent, and attack percent. There you go. And on this side, we've just gone for a little attack percent if we can get it. And nothing rolled up to 16, all sticking at around the level 12 mark, just to try and push down their stats to what might be more reasonable for level or stage 18. There's the artifact for Lily. And then where are we now? Let's have a look at, we want our fighter. So a fighter doesn't have an artifact on. We've only got the one awakening. We have got all her skills done. Now the one awakening is important if you're going to use her, but you don't have to use her because it gives her a range of +1. Feel free to use any fighter behind the wall that can reach over it, and then you're good to go. There are plenty of other options realistically for a fighter. Again, we've only got the left hand side done, so we've got a calamity for 25% attack, and then on the right hand side we've just got some odd random stuff going on. I've mostly gone for attack bonus as the main stat, and then I've gone for crit rate as a sub stat, and that's all I've looked for on these champions on the 3 DPS. So that's Estrid, Dahlia, and then Greed and Abuso as well. So that's pretty much what we've gone for gear wise, and she's only level 50, so if you've got a fighter who is greater than level 50, you will do much better out of it. And then Greed, this is the set. Unfortunately I've got Greed fully maxed out awakened. There's not a lot I can do about that. I can't push it back. I don't know if on the test server you can do that sort of thing, but I don't have access to it. So his gear, all skills are all done, yeah, and his gear, there we go, it's all down to level 12. And then, but we do have a whirlwind set giving him a nice little buff to his attack speed. And this is the same set I used on Abuso as well, completely. So what I've done is I've taken this set and then I put it onto the gear plan as a level 12 set, and then I just swapped it straight over. So I can keep it as a level 12 set, and I will see going forward if I can keep it. And then you can see there's the normal Greed stuff I put on, but there's level 12B, because the normal level 12 stuff, or the other level 12 set, is on Dahlia as well. So let's go and have a look at her and see at her gear. She's not too crazily overpowered or overgeared for this. There's Abuso, no gear on her because we swapped it across, but she does have the, there's her artifact on, oh, look at that. I cheated on Greed. I probably over pushed him with his Tear of Twilight, but you can still get it before you do level 12, although it's probably more unlikely that you'd have that, so my apologies for that. So here's the lady herself. She is in the Orb of Ruin. I do suggest, if you've got her, make sure you go and pick that up. Absolutely brilliant to make sure you've got her. Skills wise, we've done the skills in the other video. We have put some dust and some crystals into that to actually get some of these maxed out. Apologise for that, I should have done it before. I should have done this before I done that video, so my bad. I will in the future try and make sure I do a better job of that and try and get them out pre-skilled up and looking at the lower levels. And there's her gear. So she's got a calamity set on, giving her a nice little attack buff of 25%. And then the rest of it, again, I've just gone for attack percentage and crit rate, and then main stat attack percentage, and then crit rate as a substat, and then if we get anything else, great. And the sets are all offsets, so there's no Soulbound Arcana, there's no Infernal Roar giving her 40% attack, anything like that. It's all relatively low geared stuff, so you could easily build on this team to be able to push through quite happily. So I think even with legendary stuff and a bit, you know, and a few mythical bits rolled up to 16 that are good, or stuff that you get from the storyline, some of that is really good stuff. You put that on your DPS or on her, you will easily get past that level, which is a nice little milestone for you to get through. But don't forget to do your challenges, and you don't need to do well on the challenge. All you need to do is make sure that you have got to the sort of, if you get to the 4 million mark, you'll easily get enough points there to actually go on and into the shop and get the get her exclusive artifact, because it's at 4,000. So broken souls, but you won't get the bitter souls, but the bitter souls are for bits at the top, more fancy rewards, but you don't need them for her artifact. Okay, hope you found that helpful. I'm going to crack on and do the challenge because I haven't done it today and I'm in terrible gear, but I've only got like 2 minutes left, so it's going to be what it is. Thank you for your time. If you've enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up, a like and subscribe. That would help me out massively, and I'll see you all in a video again soon. Happy gaming. Cheers. Goodbye.